One day, Mephisto and Hot Stuff the Little Devil were chillin', discussing their weeks. According to Mephisto, Ghost Rider's been slipping a little. "He's too soft," Mephisto boomed. Hot Stuff thought and thought. Is there a way to make the Ghost Rider even more mean? Maybe don't make him want to be mean, but rather make him resent the idea of being nice. See, I have a friend who I think would be just perfect for a job like that. A little ghost named Casper. What if we got him to do Johnny's job while Johnny tries to fill the void Casper would leave in children's hearts? Show Ghost Rider what happens when you get a little too nice. Of course, Hot Stuff was playing one of his tricks, knowing full well Casper being the Ghost Rider would not go well. But hey, how entertaining would it be to see Casper being forced to do such a job? Mephisto thought. Interesting. With a snap of his fingers, Johnny and Casper were in the room. "The hell?" Johnny shouted. Casper, meanwhile, looked around and said, "Hello, I'm really glad to meet ya." Mephisto explained that he'd be giving Casper the powers of Ghost Rider and sending him to bring the day of judgment upon the world's scum, and explaining to Johnny that he'd be trying to help kids by being friendly and kind to them all. While in his Ghost Rider form, of course, he's not getting out of this situation so easily. Neither were on board with this, with Johnny visibly furious, while Casper was shaking in his boots, worried about doing anything mean. Mephisto didn't care and granted them a shared power set, and sent them back to Earth. So, who will do the other's job better? Tonight, the guilty shall suffer. It's Brandon, here embodying the spirit of vengeance to raise hell on Galaxy Grudge Match. Or, prove that Jonathan Blaze can do nearly the exact opposite. Today, he's tasked with switching jobs with Casper the Friendly Ghost, and becoming the Friendly Ghost Rider. Though, something of note, Johnny is going to be locked in his skeletal form. No one said it was going to be easy for either of them. The Ghost Rider is one of the scariest heroes in all of Marvel. He's not just a skeleton who'll send shivers down your spine. His comics read like passages from the Bible. Obviously, his biggest issue faced here is his appearance. He's known for punishing the wicked and imposing eternal damnation onto sinners. Even in his conception, he played an adversarial role to Spider-Man and the Avengers on occasion. But he's always been able to patch things up with Earth's mightiest heroes, eventually working with Spider-Man and the Hulk. He helped the Fantastic Four stop Galactus. Safe to say, he has to play more into the role of hero than anti-hero if he wants to succeed today. He's only out reaping souls because he has to, it's his burden. I feel bad that this is Casper's curse now, but I'll speak more on him later. Johnny, before becoming the writer, was your average guy, one who entertained people in fact. He was a cyclist for the circus, one that his foster parents raised him in. From an early age, he's been performing for people. This shows a sense of camaraderie and an enjoyment in entertaining the masses, but also showing he'd have a more sympathetic side to those with more down-to-earth issues. Not that he doesn't have tons of experience as the Ghost Rider seeing people for their sin alone. He's a good guy behind all the flames, and I mean, he doesn't look all that scary in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show. What shoestring budget? No. Some kids may be afraid of him at first, but we've seen how people in the Marvel Universe get used to the Rider. Johnny's able to sometimes hold relationships and has a girlfriend. And many with the mantle have done tons of nice things. Danny Ketch, another Rider, once helped a kid out of a snowstorm. Granted, he was blind, but, you know. And, okay, maybe Blaze himself may not be as easygoing as Ketch or Robbie Reyes. He still has been shown to crack jokes in the face of the wicked. Maybe Spider-Man's rubbed off on him after all these years. Another character the writer has interacted with is Deadpool, who himself has a sympathetic side, believe it or not. He was able to mellow out and save a girl who was contemplating taking her own life. I know Deadpool's kind of an out there example, but anti-heroes from all sides of the Marvel spectrum are willing to put aside their Marvel brand humor and level with people. And besides being a Marvel hero with a human heart, both are coupled with a physical deformity. I think Johnny has it in him to be a good guy. Even if some kids are afraid of him, wouldn't others find him cool? People love the Human Torch for his boisterous personality and fiery abilities. Johnny's a performer, so he'd likely do the same with his powers. One time, while Johnny was driving by some kids on their bikes, he made damn sure they were all wearing helmets. Casper's approach is more direct. He goes out of his way to stop problems. But he's such a pushover. Most of the time it's his childlike nature that makes him worse off. If some kid was having a problem and went to the Ghost Rider, I'm almost certain any bully would stop what they're doing immediately. Casper's world has ghosts, no duh, devils, which is Baby Huey, just a lot of weird shit. While I won't say Ghost Rider fits in seamlessly, he's not the only weird thing in that world. But for Casper himself, I have to be real here, I think he's in a lot of trouble. Casper does not have a malicious bone in his body, or any bones in his body. He's gaining the powers of the Rider, but among the many Riders in Marvel, some have gotten their powers just taken away or lost important battles because the person wielding the Hellfire doesn't have the gumption to. He's working for Mephisto, and while Johnny has enough of a spine to fight back, I think Mephisto is gonna abuse the poor kid. Casper's incredibly friendly to a fault, but also childish and naive. If he gets sad over bad grades or school bullies, what is he gonna do when faced with some of the eldritch abominations of the Marvel Universe? Yeah, there's tons of other flying bricks helping him out, but usually the Ghost Rider handles all the demonic shit on his own. Plus, I believe beings of higher power like Doctor Strange, while they would be able to help Casper, would realize he can't be playing hero in the long term and it would probably talk him out of it. He's given a lot of power, but he lacks the skill to use any of it. I brought up Galactus as a not so demonic enemy the Rider has had to face, but there's Blackheart, the son of Mephisto, Nightmare, an all-powerful dream manipulator, or just straight up Mephisto himself if he ever crosses the line. Coupled with having to keep the demon Zarathos restrained, else he'll end up spiraling out of control, I don't think Casper's gonna be able to do it. It's one thing to have a little devil on your shoulder, but Mephisto makes him look infinitely nicer in comparison. But what if he just sticks to the street level stuff? Screw hell. Well, Casper's afraid of his uncles. Imagine what someone like Mysterio could do to trick him. Then again, I don't think he can stick to the streets given how much power he has. One of Ghost Rider's main attacks is the Penance Stare, where he judges someone for their sins alone. I can genuinely see Casper spiraling and being afraid of using this. Whether it be seeing the sins themselves to seeing the person he's hurting reeling in pain. And sometimes his power just doesn't work. Characters with a strong enough will like the Punisher, symbiotes like Venom, or characters who see no ill will in their sins like Thanos will just be immune to this. And this is the Ghost Rider's trump card. I call it a hot take, I don't think Casper has the same amount of fighting experience Johnny has. And on the villain side, there's just a ton of Marvel characters who can devour souls or perform exorcisms. It's gonna be too much for him. He's going to be afraid of his powers, all while Zarathos and Mephisto fight over him like two kids on the opposite sides of an action figure. It's enough to make anyone go insane, let alone a ghost with the mindset of a child. I don't see this ending well for Casper. It's such a grisly fate. Innocent blood has been spilled and must be avenged.
As if. Ghost Rider stands a ghost of a chance, and I'm sure that you'll agree with me once I present my arguments for Casper, the vengeful ghost. Hi there, it's me, Ribbit, the host that doesn't say the letter T. Come on, you know the one. Here to debate for Casper. Initially might seem like a sad spot to be in, but bear with me, I have my reasons. Starting off, I mean, just look at the Ghost Rider. Kids aren't gonna want to spend time with him. They'll be running, crying, asking for their parents to save them. As well-meaning as the Ghost Rider may be, there's no way around the fact that his task will require different methods each time. The goals will change with each new animal or child or whatever. I don't doubt that Johnny could help the kids, but not without scaring them away. Psychology, to an extent at least, is involved here. Casper, meanwhile, literally has the same job and can get it done lickety-split with the penance. Casper, meanwhile, literally has the same job every time and can get it done lickety-split with the pendant stare. He doesn't need to do it in a different way every time. If anything, people are going to underestimate Casper. Now, Casper doesn't have that fear factor that the Rider has, but you'd be surprised. People lose their shit when Casper shows up. They act like they're doing a Galaxy Grudge Match binge and they just got to the stretch royale. If Nick Cage screaming about doors in people's faces is enough, a literal ghost is too, in my opinion. Even if his design is definitely on the cuter side. Plus, I don't think any sane adult could deal with helping kids every day anyway, let alone one who's used to dealing with such large-scale problems. I don't know if Johnny will have it in him to care about these kids' first world problems when he's dealt with beings that threaten the entire multiverse before. Of course, I'm glossing over the elephant in the room here though. Casper's a sweetheart. Johnny's actually a nice guy, he just looks scary. So Casper's at a disadvantage, right? Well, kinda. I won't act like Casper's not going to be out of his element, but Casper's a realist. He knows that there are dicks and he's more than willing to get a little less friendly. For example, in the second Casper movie, he taught a group of bullies a lesson when they messed with his friend. And I think more importantly, when a group of ghosts tried to force feed him mean pills, he became a devil and began to mess with them, covering them with glue, chasing them with a goddamn lawnmower, burning their feet off, and decapitating them. And guess what's revealed at the end?
I didn't really take those mean pills. I just wanted to teach them a lesson.
I mean, yeah, they were ghosts who could survive all those things, but still, Casper's not afraid to get more hostile. And what do all of these instances have in common? Casper's only ever messed with douches, for the sake of comeuppance, if you will. Who does the Ghost Rider deal with? People with innumerable sins, of course. If Casper just looks into them, he'll see that they really do have it coming to him, and will be more than happy to pull off the Rider shtick. Maybe not happy with his new job, but he'll be doing better than Johnny, whose circus acts and tricks will be undermined by his appearance. He is in Hell now, a place that you'd think would make Casper cower in his non-existent boots, but Casper has actually willingly ventured into neighbouring demons' races' turfs with no fears. So he's pretty used to dealing with demons and doesn't really find Hellscape scary. I understand that Casper in the grand scheme of Marvel might not be able to intimidate, but that's where my final argument comes in. Shapeshifting. Casper has shown enough knowledge on scaring to shapeshift into much scarier forms, like a large, sharp-toothed ghost. Coupling this with surprising skill in combat, enough to take down a being so powerful that he took over 5 realms simultaneously, all of which were filled with magical beings like demons, witches, and of course, ghosts. And I honestly believe that Casper can pull through here. In fact, I think that Zarathos will want Casper to take Johnny's place completely. He'll get right up in Casper's ear and whisper, "Can I keep you?" You know that feeling that you get when you've won a Galaxy Grudge Match episode? I think Casper's made of that.
For your valiant
Winning of Galaxy Grudge Match.
I knight thee, Sir Friend Casper.
Casper, the friendly ghost, the friendliest ghost you know. So grown-ups might look at him with fright, the children all love him so.
The day of judgment is upon you, scum.
We're in for a long ride. Ghost ride. Ghost Rider? Hey, I know that guy! Look, he's stuck in Casper's universe. If Johnny doesn't give up when life literally shat on this man back to back to back to back, I don't think some kids calling him mean names is enough to deter him from his now much safer job. What are they gonna do? Kick him out? He's a Marvel Herald! They will eventually come around and learn that the Ghost Rider is a cool and nice guy, one who promotes bicycle safety, while also boasting some sick BMX skills. If the Arch universe can get along with the Punisher running around all gun-toting, I think a flaming skeleton isn't too weird. There's already a lot of cryptids and spooky people in the goated CG Casper Scare School. Also, just judging off how anatomy or art style works in these type of crossovers, Ghost Rider would probably just end up looking like a Scotty Young Marvel comic character in Casper's world. I think it's in the best interest for both of us to stray away from live action. I think there could genuinely be a GGM mini between the Nick Cage Ghost Rider film and the Casper movie on which one is worse. Johnny has some serious backbone, what with Mephisto and Zarathos fighting over him like little angels and devils on his shoulder. Except both of them are the devils this time. But I believe by the end of this, Casper's gonna be rocking back and forth in a corner somewhere sucking his thumb once he realizes what he's up against and who he's working for. Even you admit people in Casper's universe are more frightful, but now Casper actually has something to fear. Having access to the chains, hellfire, etc. allows the writer to take on cosmic level beings, but I've also just seen him get his ass kicked by Spider-Man tier characters. When you have an emotionally unstable individual wielding a power barring Versus that has a spotty win-loss ratio, he's gonna become an even bigger target than Johnny ever was for villains, if not just his own inner dread. In the story Ghost Rider King of Hell, we see after years at it, Danny and Johnny are both living terrible lives. Even as the King of Hell, Johnny is so demented and cruel, and has to rely on opioids and drugs just for his sanity's sake. Call it a hunch, but I don't want someone as impressionable as Casper going down this route. I'll admit Casper stands his ground more often than I thought, but those instances are scarce, and his normal tactics of scaring people aren't gonna work. So, while I think Casper's gonna want to go home sooner than later, I doubt Johnny will want to. even after burdening this poor kid. Even for how heroic he is, he has told tales of hating being the Rider. Like in The Damnation of Ghost Rider, when he becomes the ruler of Hell again, he talks about how he's been damned by this mantle, wishing for nothing more than to go back to his simpler days of being a carny. And besides, you think he won't want to help kids all day? He literally grew up in the circus his whole life. I've seen some Ghost Riders that look more goofy than anything. A cool superhero with fire powers? If worst comes to worst, he could just smelt a helmet from the materials his chains are made of. He still has the powers after all. Somehow his clothes don't burn off, so maybe he could just make a mask out of that. He may be willing to venture into demonic territory, but it's not a great sign when there are demons in there that can put up a fight with Zarathos, that could sneeze Casper out of existence. I think your examples of Casper not being afraid are actually problems when he's so childish, whilst Zarathos is lulling him into doing stuff. At the very least, he's probably not happy being tied to the hip with this kid. And if you want more examples of Ghost Rider getting along with others, he's been a big player in some of the Fantastic Four's victories. And they're more than a superhero team, they're a family. Fuck off. The FF are a revolving door of superheroes that grow tighter upon working with one another. If Ryder is having some trouble relating to younger kids, he can always think back to his time with Reed and Sue's daughter, Valeria, who is both a kid and kinda crazy, taught by Dr. Doom to not fear aliens and shit. Or just, take some cues from the Human Torch, who is both popular in-universe, but also out-of-universe to the extent where TV executives were worried kids would light themselves on fire because of him. Except this time, Johnny will be giving a positive message. Don't do drugs, or you'll burn your ass off. Look, if this was a goated team-up like was actually planned for these two, I'm sure he'd love to help Casper out. All of this, while the Rider is in a position where he is not physically opposed, is given a restart to live a happier, if arduous, life. I think a tonal shift can be made. Hate to see it, Casper. Can't live in fear forever.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Did you just go and shit on the Casper movie? That film is on a whole other league than Ghost Rider's shit. That film transcends the entire MCU even. Spider-Verse?
Piss off!
Alright, seriously, okay, you present some solid arguments for Johnny, but I fail to see how kids would ever trust someone who looks like that. Ghost Rider is in Casper's world now, and the people in that universe are way easier to scare. Just seeing something as innocent and friendly looking as Casper makes them freak the fuck out. People in the Marvel universe are kinda used to weird shit, so it makes sense that people aren't as put off by the Rider, but in this new world, he won't be able to get close to any kids. Considering how they react to Casper, there will probably be a citywide lockdown at the sight of this guy. Not only that, but even the animals are scared of him. Like, the Rider is going to cause a kid's hamster to have a goddamn aneurysm eventually. I understand that the guy has charisma and has plenty of party tricks, but you're going to tell me that Casper doesn't? I understand that he gets on with the kids, but he's actually innocent looking. The Rider is not. Alright though, I'll bite. What if he wears a mask? Oh, that'll be fine then. Just a 6-foot-tall man in a mask going up to random kids and trying to befriend them. Lovely! Ghost Rider might not have to worry about Blackheart anymore, but Chris Hansen will be having a field day. You say Ghost Rider would look more innocent if he traveled into Casper's world, but I wouldn't count on it. Look at what some monsters look like in Casper's world. Johnny isn't going to come out looking like a superhero squad version, I can tell you that much. This is the big, bad looking Ghost Rider running around a world where something as cute as Casper has people running for the hills. Simple as. Casper, meanwhile, is now surrounded by many other superheroes who will be more than happy to give him moral support. Of course Casper would be distraught, but imagine what a comforting from Spider-Man would be like. This is a world that I'd argue would be far more accepting of Casper. In this world, Casper could now actually walk 2 feet without someone shrieking. How would he know to go to them? Well, they don't exactly keep their whereabouts a secret. These are all nice superheroes. They would not just ignore a crying child who has a job like this now. Yeah, his job now sucks, but I think this world has its upsides too, with all the friends that he'll make over time there. Initial fear was something that even Johnny had, but Casper did help take down a realm-conquering being, as I said before. These kinds of threats would chill any newcomer, but with the powers of the Rider in his hands, Casper will likely get the hang of it eventually. Not like he even needs to make himself super well known though. Being a ghost has its benefits, like how he can disappear from any scene in an instant. The only threats Casper will run into for definite are the ones Mephisto brings out, who are frightening for sure, but not only are even with Casper in power now, but aren't entirely his responsibility. I can only assume that Thor or Doctor Strange will eventually pop over and kick their asses for him. Casper isn't going to be alone if he befriends other Marvel heroes. Casper's #1 skill is literally being friendly. Of course he's going to make a lot of friends. Not like he's never met superheroes before either, so this won't be all too much. Casper is flexible enough as a character to stand his ground when he needs to, but to be reserved and likable if need be too. I don't see this being the smoothest of transitions, but at least his issues are way more in his control than Johnny's are. Casper's able to look scary enough, so only mental walls block his path. Not only will Johnny need to spend his entire life seeking kids out and befriending them, but he won't be able to turn a corner without everyone screaming. God knows he'll be missing the ability to turn human. That will really mess with him. Casper, when not being the rider, can still lead a normal life, possibly even more comfortable than his current one. But poor Johnny's life will be a ghost of what it used to be, and not the friendly kind. In fact, most of the nice things in life that Johnny could enjoy before are now rendered much harder, because even non-sentient objects would be scared of him. Some of the things that Johnny cannot enjoy anymore include, but are not limited to, television, movies, music, shoes, mirrors, umbrellas, comics, video games, amusement parks, soap, towels, and even food and water. Casper is being brought into a new world where, on a day-to-day basis, he'll be treated better, while Johnny is now being forced to work in a world where eating food is a challenge. I don't doubt Johnny's ability to be a nice person, but thanks to his physical appearance, I doubt Casper's ability to button up and do what he needs to do less. All thanks to his showings of bravery and determination that would impress any Marvel hero. Johnny's so distraught that he'll fucking die, and I'll be like that kid from Casper, A Spirited Beginning, who says,
You are gonna die.
No bones about it, this verdict will be eating away at us until you leave your comments. So get to it! Ride like the wind!
Said comments can be on this video, or you can join the Multiversus Discord server and leave your predictions there.
Ah, the Multiversus Discord server. The only place more frightening than today's locales. We'll catch you all in the next episode.
Ooh, wait till Kibosh hears about that! Major brownie points for the Sniffler!
The ghost is here, it's a frightening task to face our fears and the creep in the mask. Till the ghost is here, there's no reason to ask. He's fake.